Change to Victoria, and for the first time, BC elected a majority female legislature, and Reann Gasper from the Abbotsford-Mission riding became the first Black woman elected as MLA since the 1980s. And of course, during Black History Month, we recognize and celebrate the accomplishments of Black Canadians, and we're pleased that Reann Gasper is on the line with us this morning. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Thank you so much for having me.
When we look back, Rianne, Rosemary Brown comes to mind. Rosemary Brown was certainly a pioneer in politics here. She was first elected in 1972, left office in the 80s. That's a long time ago, though, right? I mean, how does it feel to enter the legislature as one of two Black MLAs this session?
It is an honor. It is an honor to represent, the Black community. Is an honor to be a woman. What a time to live in, to serve, this province in this way. It's kind of one of those things of you look at that time frame and you go 30 years, so it's exciting, to be a part of history, really.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Certainly an exciting, change for you. But what do you think it means for Black women to see representation like this?
I think it's huge. I have kids and I know what that's like when they see, their skin color represented in leadership. It is huge for young people. And, for me, this has always been, this is all about the young people, the legacy that we are leaving, and they are looking to us as leaders. So when they see representation, um, it inspires them, it encourages them to dream big, to believe the impossible, to know that they can be in places of leadership like government, and represent well. So it's such a diverse role because I'm representing the Black community. I'm a woman, and that is so it's celebrated, and that's what I think about Black History Month. It really is a celebration of culture and what we're doing in society to allow minority groups to be seen in this way.
Right. And I'd like to hear more about your own path here. This is your first time in provincial politics, but what made you want to run?
Honestly, my children. I'm an immigrant to Canada. It's been over 30 years. And I, as a faith leader, I started to kind of look at the landscape of what was happening politically, and I thought, I've got to do something. The Canada I migrated to is not the Canada that I'm seeing, and for me, that meant that it wasn't somebody else's responsibility to be a part of change. It meant that it was my responsibility to get in the game and try and make a difference. And, when we were talking about it with our kids, my 16-year-old daughter leaned over at the time, she would have been 15. And she said to me, she said, "Mom, you have to run. Like you have to do this." And that was enough for me in that moment to understand the weight that, I think in life as parents, you're looking to leave a legacy for your kids. They are the treasures that we've been given here on this earth, and to do anything in life that makes it better for them is worthwhile. And so that driving force. When John appointed me as critic for childcare and children and youth with support needs, I thought this is perfect, Mama Bear. I'm all about the children because they are our future, and they need to see examples in government that reflect that positivity, that reality. That listen, this can change, and we're working hard to see that happen.
Well, and it's great to hear you've got the support of your daughter as well in that endeavor, because it does mean a lot of sacrifices along the way. And that's what I was going to ask you. And what's been sort of the most eye-opening experience for you this past week? I had a chance to talk to a few first-time MLAs last week. They went to basically the equivalent of MLA prep school. They were trying to sort of
Right.
figure out
Yeah.
when things get asked, when it's your turn, that type of thing in the House as well. What's it been like for you?
I think we are all on a steep learning curve. It's kind of they've done a really great job to prepare us, and having MLA school, but being in it, that's a whole other thing. And I think now that kind of being taught and now sitting in it, coming together, you're kind of understanding, okay, this is how this works, this is what this looks like. But it's crazy, packing my suitcase, getting on a ferry, we're making it work, and it's a part of the sacrifice of, the decisions we've made to get me here. And so we're counting the cost, but it's crazy.
Well, these are early days, and it's really encouraging to hear you speak about this. In terms of the support around you. The legislature has a majority of female MLAs for the first time, but we've also seen some high-profile women leave in recent years. It comes to mind NDP's Melanie Mark. She stepped down. She said it felt like a torture chamber. She said her quote was, "Women in question period get it worse than men." Um, have you thought about that at all? Are you feeling apprehensive at all about that?
I'm not, I think being the opposition and what we have to hold the government to account, this is the question period it's intense, but it is a part of the job to hold the government accountable for the things that are not working, for the things that need to be fixed. And I'm excited. I didn't want to go first. I said no. But I'm excited to, be a part of the process. I mean, some of the things that we are questioning the government about, things like safe supply, if you could have that in the same, sentence. But, there's a real problem in our province when it comes to drugs. And, last week we went hard after the government, calling for a public inquiry, and that is a part of the job. And so it can be tough, absolutely. And but tough in the sense of maybe, all of the confrontation tough, but not tough in the sense of, listen, somebody has to be accountable for this because our kids are dying. It's one thing for an adult to have an overdose. It's a whole other heartbreaking situation when you have children, be having access to drugs and dying. It hits at a different level, right? And so I yes, it's intense, but it is necessary, and we're gonna go after it.
Okay. You've mentioned safe supply, toxic drugs, that type of thing. What about your specific priorities for Abbotsford-Mission?
Yes, so my beautiful community, for myself, and this was something in the campaign. We had one of the top ER closures in BC as far as how many times the ER was closed, and so me advocating in government for a change of how the system is being run. There has to be a solution. Yes, hiring more doctors, but we need more. We need communities to not have ER, because in an emergency, you don't have minutes. Like sometimes you have seconds. And so to not have an ER open it's scary for people. And to drive to Abbotsford, even though we're like 15, 20 minutes away, that complicates things. That's not always a great solution. And so that is one of my biggest things is, seeing my community have an like a hospital that is open, that can function properly. So that's one of them.
And in your conversations with other BC Conservatives, with John Rustad, what are you seeing as BC Conservative Party priorities for this session?
Well, one of them is our health system, because it's crumbling, and not just my community. Delta just had an ER closure, so healthcare is definitely, it has been a part of our platform priority. It will continue to be a part of our platform priority, and the other thing is the drug crisis that we're facing. That is, I would say, probably number one or number two. They're both up there. There's such serious. I don't think any of us uh, are immune to what is happening between our healthcare and our drug crisis. At some point, it's like we know somebody that's passed away, or an ER closure that's affecting our family, or they can't find a doctor. Like it was surprising in my campaign when we were door knocking, how many people said I don't have a family doctor, and it's been years. And that's just not right. And to me, it's when you're managing something, yes, we might have shortages. There might be things that come up as it within anything that is needing to grow and expand, but there's been such mismanagement, and we have to fix that.
Reann Gasper, it's a pleasure to speak with you again. I'm sure we will have opportunities to do it again in the near future.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's Reann Gasper, the MLA for Abbotsford-Mission.